Our action in this weekend's events all taking place on the 1.5 mile racetrack at the Kansas Speedway. And tonight we have the running of the Craftsman Truck Series elimination race for the round of 10 of the NASCAR playoffs. It is the running of the Kubota Tractor 200, and we get to see who will be the 8 drivers competing into the round of 8 into the final 4 races following tonight's race. We have some drivers who are below the cutoff line who qualified pretty well up in the top 10, trying to make up points in the early going with stage points on the line after just the first 30 and first 60 laps. As far as this one goes as well, we do have 2 drivers who are already locked into the playoffs on points, none of which with a win, as it was non-playoff driver Lane Riggs winning each of the last 2 Truck Series races last weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway and a few weeks before that at the Milwaukee Mile. But Lane Riggs has not won on an intermediate track yet in his Truck Series career, so it may be open for a playoff driver to get that win, lock themselves up into the next round, whether they need the win to get in or not. But we'll have to wait and see how all that is going to play out here in this one this evening. We'll go trackside as we'll have the pre-race invocation followed by the national anthem here.
Cats and veterans render a hand salute as the Hutchinson County Sheriff and Hutchinson Police Department Honor Guard present our nation's colors. Here to offer tonight's invocation, please welcome Associate Pastor at St. Paul's United Methodist Church, Eric Boat.
Let us pray. Thank you for all who went before us and who go beside us to pave our way. We pray for these teams, drivers and crews, first responders and military, fans and families. Whatever team we may root for, unite us across our differences and help us to care for the good of all. With teammates and for all who come after us, let us persevere in the race marked out for us. In Christ and all the names by which you race with us. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from the Gardner, Kansas Police Department, Patrol Sergeant Justin Weathers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight the ramparts we watched were so gallantly strewn, and the rockets ran, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag is still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the heart of the brave.
Well done. And what a beautiful night here in Kansas. Beautiful fall evening. The weather is perfect, and we're so happy you're joining us here for our second race of the day. We had some great action in the Arc of an Art series earlier. Happy you're joining us. I'm Jamie Little. He's Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. And we've already talked about the playoffs and how important they are. Tonight's elimination night. Some drivers, they can breathe easy.
3 drivers locked in last week at Bristol. Tom Majeski, our pole sitter, all but locked in. But for those guys you were talking about, the guys below the ball, you can see him right here, Daniel Diane Vin Rhodes. The good news is 5 times, the last 5 years, the guy below the cut line was able to bump his way in this round. But you look at their starting positions, that's the very bottom in yellow. But how about where these guys finished back in May? None of them, other than Daniel Dye with a 9th place finish, really had very good finishes. They're all going to have to do better than that. Folks who come into this race below that cut line.
Well, we've had some tremendous races here. In May, we had the closest finish ever in Cup Series history. And you know we're going to have a good show tonight, Michael, but what makes it so racy here?
Well, it's like in baseball, the coach tells the players, hit it where they aim. Well, in this race, at this racetrack,
You can go everywhere. If a truck's in your way, just go where it's going to. They'll be running 3, 4 wide all the way out next to the wall and down to that inside lane. The restart are crazy and intense, but you want options as a racer, and that's what this racetrack represents. You don't have to go worry about being out. Follow the gray down to the bottom. You don't have to worry about going out of bounds. Everything is in play, and these guys, Phil, they're going to use every inch of this racetrack tonight, and we're in for a real treat.
Certainly looking forward to that. It's known as the Sunflower State. Tonight, it is hosting the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs. Green flag is just around the corner.
We're going to go through the starting lineup for tonight's Kubota Tractor 200 then. Again, this is the elimination race of the round of 10 of the playoffs. The 2 drivers will be eliminated from championship contention, following tonight's race. Ty Majeski going to be on the pole here for this one today. Had fast trucks in each of the last 2 races, Bristol, and then last weekend had to start deep in the field in that race. And 2 weeks ago, he actually led quite a few laps at Milwaukee, but unfortunately was not able to get the win. Had a solid top 3 finish. Looking to point his way into the next round of the playoffs. Good starting spot, of course, to go with him there. Connor Mosak going to be driving the 7 truck for Spire Motorsports tonight. That truck is still alive for the owner's title in the owner's playoffs, so we'll see what he can do in that truck this evening. Christian Eckes with Ben Rhodes will line up in row number 2. Eckes, one of only 2 drivers who actually have locked themselves into the next round on points. Dawson Sutton and Caden Honeycutt will line up in row number 3. Nick Sanchez, playoff driver, and non-playoff driver Stuart Friesen in row 4. Row 5 for Jake Garcia and Daniel Dye. Dye, one of the 2 drivers below the cutoff line, entering tonight's race. Dean Thompson, Matt Mills will line up in row 6. Lane Riggs trying to go for 3 wins in a row as he starts back on the inside of row 7. And playoff driver Tyler Ankrum to his outside. Chase Purdy with Roger Carruth will line up in row 8. Row 9 for Taylor Gray and Corey Day. Corey Day making his 2nd career Truck Series start. His first was last weekend at Bristol. Grant Enfinger and Brett Holmes will line up in row number 10. Row 11 for Tanner Gray and Bailey Curry. Brendan Butterbean Queen is back in the Truck Series. First time since North Wilkesboro earlier this year. First intermediate track start in the Truck Series for him. He's on the inside of row 12 with Lawless Allen to his outside. Marco Andretti is back again. He'll be on the inside of row 13 with 3-time Truck Series champion Matt Crafton to his outside. Justin Mondyke and Spencer Boyd in row number 14. Connor Daly, Timmy Hill in row 15. Frankie Muniz and Nathan Bird in row number 16. And rounding out the field in row 17 tonight will be Corey Heim and Jennifer Jo Cobb. Cobb in her first start of the season. So that's going to be the 17 rows, the 34 truck field for tonight's race. Our scheduled distance, 134 laps, 200 miles here this evening. And here are those playoff standings coming into the night as you see on screen. Again, Christian Eckes locked into the next round on points as he's plus 95. Corey Heim also locked into the next round on points plus 80. You can only score a max 60 points in a race. And obviously if you win, you advance to the next round. Most points you can score in a single race then would be 59. If you don't end up getting the win, which would be winning the first 2 stages and finishing second in the race. Nick Sanchez plus 63 points. The only reason he is not locked in mathematically to the next round is in case Daniel Dye or Ben Rhodes were to win the race here today, because that would automatically qualify for them for the playoffs. So not being 59 plus points ahead of Grant Enfinger, who comes into the race 8th in the standings, is the reason why Sanchez isn't locked in, but he can lock himself in here in this first stage. Ty Majeski plus 58 points can also lock himself into the next round of the playoffs through stage 1 if he has a good start. Both Sanchez and Majeski start in the top 10. Again, Majeski is on the pole. Plus 35 points for Raja Carruth. He actually had a win on 1.5 miles on a similar track in Vegas earlier this year, though didn't qualify particularly well here today. Tyler Ankrum starts mid-pack as well. He's plus 25 points. Taylor Gray plus 23 points. And Grant Enfinger plus 7. Grant Enfinger is the last driver, again, above the cut line on the Truck Series playoff field. Daniel Dye, first driver out, minus 7, starting 10th. And Ben Rhodes starting in the top 4 as he is minus 12 points. So that is your point standings, your playoff standings here. Again, just 4 races left in the Truck Series season after tonight. They'll begin their round of 8 of the playoffs next weekend at Talladega.
Go trackside once again for the command.
Kansas Speedway, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Please welcome Operations Assistant of Parts at Kubota, Kristen Stevens.
Drive, start your engine!
All right, practice and qualifying took place a few hours ago. Let's take a look now at the Craftsman starting lineup. Ty Majeski got the job done fastest truck earlier this afternoon, starting alongside Connor Mozak.
Yeah, best career start for Connor Mozak. How about Ben Rhodes coming into this race knowing he has to have a good run, had a great qualifying effort.
Check out row 3. Dawson Sutton hops in that 25 truck and puts it in the top 5 right alongside Caden Honeycutt. Every time Caden gets behind the wheel of the 45, he's fast. Looking forward to watching that row go forward tonight.
Nick Sanchez, playoff driver, walked in, moving on to the round of 8 alongside Stuart Friesens. Good track for Stuart.
Here's Daniel Dye. He's in just a little bit below the cut line. Needs a good one. One other guy above the cut line is Grant Enfinger. Let's see if we can chat with Grant. Hey, Grant Enfinger, Phil Parsons in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Phil.
Well, buddy, you know what you got to do? You come in here above the cut line. You've been below the cut line in one of these elimination races before and won to make it into the next round. What about tonight?
Yeah, this is a position myself and Jeff Banquist and not half of our guys on this team have been before. We're not proud that we dug this hole. But at the same time, like as a race car driver, as a race team, this is what you get up and get strive for every day to be in these situations and to make the most of it. So we're right behind the pace truck here, which is normally a good thing. The problem is this is a second pace truck. So we've got some work to do after qualifying. But I was pretty happy with our truck after about 5 laps. We just lacked a little bit of fire off.
Hey, Grant, it's Michael. I'm just curious. I said in the opening how many options you drivers have at this track. For us to watch, it's so much fun. What's it like for you as a driver to know you can go high, go low, go up the middle?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places as a driver. It limits our excuses. We got 3 or 4 lanes we can choose from. 30 years still matters here. It still matters, especially when you're in the position we are, starting 19th here. But less than most places because we do have so many options. Most people made their way to the top pretty early on in practice, so I do anticipate that early on.
Buddy, we appreciate you talking to us. Have a great run.
Yeah, thanks everybody for sticking along for the ride and taking a champion power equipment. Everybody at CR's Up Motorsports and Chevy that allows us this opportunity.
I just love that. We're in the truck. He cranks the engine and spends a little bit of time with us, just getting us up to speed on what he's thinking, what they have to do. Just great TV.
Well, as always, we have 2 reporters with us, but tonight we have a rookie, but he is no stranger to the Craftsman Truck Series, a 2-time champion, Mr. Todd Bodine. Todd, we're so happy to have you here. I know you had the rookie stripe on earlier, but we're excited to have you.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Yeah, it's just great to be on the broadcast with you. And back in 05, when we were racing, in my whole career in a truck series, we didn't race under this playoff format. We just raced week to week for points. This playoff format has so much pressure that comes with it, so much on performance each and every week. And tonight, one of our playoff drivers, our defending champion, Ben Rhodes, has a little bit of added pressure. He's 12 points below the cut line. That means they have to go out tonight, execute every stage, get those stage points, along with getting a good finish. And for Ben, it puts a lot of added pressure in that situation. I'm with Doug Randolph as crew chief. And Doug, you've been in this situation before. You've been around this for a long time. How can you help Ben from on top of the box to make sure you execute all night?
Man, we've talked about all the strategies and scenarios, so we all have those in our mind. It's just a matter of keeping him updated where we are, where we're going. Things start to get off course, make sure we pat him right back in the right direction. But man, the guys at Thor Sport have been working hard. This is a new spec truck that they brought out for all of us. We have high hopes for it. And this is just one of those moments in sport that we all crave. And Ben Rhodes has a history of answering the call in these moments. So we'll see if we get her done tonight.
Yes, he does. Ben's one of the best. Back to you, Jamie.
Great job, Todd, and well done, Doug Randolph. Looking forward to seeing how Ben Rose's Net 99 team perform tonight. Well, Amanda Busick is doing double duty once again. So, Amanda, who are you watching tonight?
Absolutely. We're going to continue the conversation on the playoffs. And one of the drivers sitting above that round of 8 cut line is that of Rajah Caruth, who had that impressive drive at Bristol. But he comes into Kansas saying that he's seeking redemption. He feels he's always had a great truck here, but has not been able to garner the finish that he's looking for. But also said that he comes into Kansas, he always feels joyful. You'll see 2 Chiefs players behind me on his pit box rooting for him tonight. I saw Rajah hug every single member of his team before he got to his truck tonight. I want to go back to Bristol, though. It was not a joyful night for Daniel Dye. It was so bad. I think we saw in some of the pictures here tonight that he shaved his hair off, guys, ahead of Kansas.
What?
Said he comes into this.
I did not see this.
Much confidence in himself than he had in the spring, and said he knows he needs a nice finish here tonight to even have a chance of advancing above that playoff cut line into the round of 8. Stage wins, a win here tonight possibly, but a top 5 finish at 50 points is what Daniel Dye is seeking.
Thanks, Amanda. Well, now we know why he cut his hair off. He just had enough, wanted to put the bad luck behind him and move on starting tonight. All right, Mikey, how about you give us the Craftsman track description?
3rd time's charm. I'm in love with this track. Have y'all noticed tonight? Let's go to the Craftsman track description and see what it's all about. You can see 17 to 20 degrees of variable banking in the corners. That's the key to running high and low, and these drivers will take very much advantage of that. It's a 1.5 miles in length, and Phil, upwards of 180 miles an hour into the corner. These decisions have to be made quickly, and that's what these drivers are faced with our Craftsman track description.
At 3 or 4 wide, 170 some miles an hour. Just take a look at our race analysis. You see this race is 134 laps, just over 200 miles. Stage 1's 30, stage 2 is 30. The final stage is 74 laps. You see our pit window somewhere between 50 and 55 laps. This race ran green that last stage last year, so we had green flag pit stops. Could happen again tonight.
And with differing agendas, guys already locked in the next round, we could see some serious strategy if the caution flag flies at an opportune time for some of these guys.
How about our 2 onboards tonight, gentlemen?
We're going to right along with the guy we just talked to. This is Grandin Dinger. This is the Champion Power Equipment Chevrolet. He's starting from the 19th spot, and he's a former winner here at Kansas.
And he sounded confident. He knows what he's up against. Let's hop on board with Danny Dye. The race to stop suicide number 43, Napa Night Vision truck. Finished season best, career best, 2nd at Nashville earlier this season. Let's check out some in-truck radio and see what some of these guys are thinking.
Be an animal. Be human. No mistake. We can do it. I'll say a little prayer. That's what you do. Good night. Be an animal.
That's what I do. I say a prayer before every broadcast because this is just so intense and so much fun for us to be able to cover. I'm thankful for this opportunity.
That young man has had quite the season. See if he can continue that streak.
You know, I've been thinking about it, Jamie. He's a scrapper. You know, he got himself up against a wall coming into the playoff. Top 10 here a year ago.
So Daniel Dye 7 points below that cut line. As you look at the front row, Connor Bozak, a 2-time winner here in the Arkham and Arden Series, knows how to get around here, starting outside front row. There's our playoff leaderboard, the round of 10. Christian Eckes.
Oh, Sanchez did advance. All right.
Advancing. Ty Majeski, he's just got to have a good stage 1, and he's locked.
Yeah, Rajah Caruth had a great run at Bristol, puts him 35 points above the cut line. And then it gets a little bit dicey. Remember, 60 points are available here. Tyler Ankrum, and Taylor Grace at 25 and 23 above. That's okay, right? Well, if they have trouble early on, it could be a long night for them.
And I like 8th, 9th, and 10th. They know what they have to do. They got to go out and win stages, run up front, collect all the points they can, and not worry about numbers. Just go as fast as they can all night.
All right, so we are about to go green to kickstart this race here tonight. Again, just 30 laps in stage 1. So these tight battles for the final spot or 2 to get into the next round of the playoffs is going to be very, very fun to watch here over the next 30 laps or so, with a lot of those drivers starting at the front of the field, including Ty Majeski, who is starting on the pole here in this one. He can lock himself in, just scoring a handful of stage points in stage 1. We'll see what he has there, and maybe he can go out there and try to get the win as well. He has elected the inside lane for this initial start as the pole sitter. So Connor Mosak, who's on the front row, will be on the outside of that lane. And it'll also be fun to watch Corey Heim come from deep in the field, starting 33rd here tonight. Pace truck is already on pit road. Majeski leads the field through the restart zone, and we are underway at Kansas for the elimination race of the round of 10 for the NASCAR Truck Series playoffs. Couple trucks going down to the apron, 3 wide into the first turn already. Nick Sanchez tried to do that, got cut off by the 25 truck. Stuart Friesen 3 wide inside. In the middle of the pack, Raja Karutu is outside, another truck in the middle. Still 3 wide down the backstretch. Dean Thompson all over the place, nearly slamming into the inside of the 38 truck of Lane Riggs, who's underneath them. 4 wide now in the center of the corner, a little bit deeper in the field, again around Caruth. And those handful of trucks outside the top 10. Christian Eckes leads the opening lap of the race by less than half a truck length over Ty Majeski. Majeski still battles on the inside through turns 1 and 2 on lap 2. Eckes working the high line to his advantage. Near contact down the back straightaways. Majeski side drafts aggressively to stay underneath the 19. 19 down the track to side draft the right rear corner panel on corner entry through turn 3. Connor Mosak on the outside lane near the wall, trying to get clean air on the nose of his truck and 3rd behind. Eckes leads lap 2 by less than what he led lap number 1 by. Actually, no. Credit Ty Majeski to leading that last lap. 5/1000ths of a second the difference at the line between Majeski and Eckes, and it goes to Majeski. So the pole sitter has now led his first lap. Shown a replay as well off turn 2 the last lap as Raja Karuth had gotten loose and scraped the wall, lost a handful of spots. He's now back to 20th place. Ankrum, Day, Purdy, Curry, all able to get around him, and now one truck grazes the wall off turn 4, up in the top 10 positioning order as well. And that, I believe, was Daniel Dye, the 43. He's got a bit of a scuff on the right rear corner panel of his race truck. And that now drops Dye out of the top 10, losing all that momentum and speed down the front stretch. He sits in 13th. Which is no longer in position to get stage points in the next 26 laps. Majeski continues to hold on to the lead. He was side by side at the line again that last lap. It has been door to door for the lead the entirety of these first 4 laps between Majeski and Eckes. Each of those 2 drivers have led 2 laps between each other. What a battle at the front of the field. And Nick Sanchez starting to creep in now. Big moment for Majeski as he had to lift a ton in the middle of 1 and 2, and Eckes is finally clear for the lead off of the exit of turn 2, down the backstretch, and has about a 3-truck length lead into turn 3. Majeski trying to go up and block the 7, mimicking his line in the center of the corner through 3 and 4. Connor Daly in the 44 truck unscheduled pit stop down on pit road.
We're passing below the line at the start of the race.
Okay, so there is the reason why Daly's on pit road. It is a restart violation, and that is because he had gone down to the apron before the start-finish line when we got to the start. Now, it looked like the truck in front of him didn't really fire off, and that might have been why he was doing that. But needless to say, NASCAR has penalized Connor Daly. So pass-through penalty for Daly. We'll see if he can stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage. And actually, it looks like he is already a lap down. So 1 lap down for Daly. Frankie Muniz, after 2 laps, has pulled onto pit road for an extended period of time. He's a couple laps down in the early going of this race as well. So a couple of problems for trucks that started deep in the field. And speaking of deep in the field, Corey Heim, after starting 33rd, is up to 14th in just 7 laps. Man, we got trucks getting loose all over the place right now. Lane Riggs was way sideways off the exit of turn 4. And the 25 truck of Dawson Sutton, who was underneath Taylor Gray battling for position, had actually gotten into him, made a slight bit of contact, and he slid all the way down towards the grass on the front stretch before recovering. Clipped the grass with the left side tires. Luckily, he didn't damage the splitter. That could have ended his day prematurely if that was the case. Majeski with the slide job, going to take the race lead off turn 4. Slingshot move through the center of the corner, cleared the 19, but the 19's got the run off the high side. Plus, Majeski got really loose on corner exit as well. So Eckes is going to bring the fight back to him through turns 1 and 2. And he's going to go to the high side in doing so. Majewski ended up down on the bottom near the white line. A little over half a lane off of the white line as he continues with his lead and actually increases it a bit through 1 and 2. Not as good of a run on corner exit that time for Eckes. Lap number 9 completed at the line. 21 laps to go in stage 1. Again, your race leader is Ty Majewski. Christian Eckes in 2nd. Nick Sanchez 3rd. Connor Bosack 4th. Stuart Friesen 5th. Ben Rhodes in 6th. Check that. Looks like Stuart Friesen 4th. Connor Bosack 5th. Then Caden Honeycutt 6th. Leaderboard just changed a little bit as they finished that last lap. So Ben Rhodes is in 7th. Taylor Gray 8th. Dawson Sutton 9th. And Lane Riggs rounds out the top 10. So that is the top 10 in the running order. We'll take our first ad break of the stream. Just over 5 minutes into the Kubota Tractor 200 at the Kansas Speedway. You're listening live on KRC. Be sure to vote for who you think is going to win tonight's Truck Series race at Kansas in our chat poll. That poll will end at the end of stage 2 as usual. Very tight between all 4 voting options as well right now. Corey Heim leading the poll at 28%. 28% saying somebody other than Ty Majewski or Eckes as well. Eckes at 24% and 20% for Ty Majewski. Again, that poll closes at the end of stage 2, which is lap 60 here tonight. Quick shout outs to those of you watching that event in the chat as well from the start of the stream to now, or maybe just tuning in that I see in the chat. Shout out to Frank Powers, Doug Corserone, hopefully I said your last name correctly, Thomas Roth, Dale Obliger, and Matthew Dorda Bruno. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a good, fast Friday night. Second of 3 straight weeks for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Again, they will be at Talladega next Friday afternoon as well. Yes, you heard me right. Friday afternoon race for the Truck Series next weekend. Usually, with this second race of the Talladega schedule for Truck and Xfinity, it's a doubleheader on Saturday, but not next week. It'll be a Friday afternoon at 4:30 for the Truck Series. 4:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 local time. And the Xfinity race will still be taking place on Saturday afternoon, I believe at 4 p.m. Eastern, which would be 3 p.m. Central local time at the Talladega Superspeedway. Corey Heim about to get by Dawson Sutton for the 10th place position. That will be from 33rd to the top 10 in just 15 laps if he can do it this next lap. And a huge line of traffic up in front of Heim as well. Actually 3 wide right around Sutton, Ben Rhodes, lap truck. Down to the bottom, that's Jennifer Jo Cobb losing a lap. Heim to the outside of Sutton, clears him off turn 2, in the draft down the back straightaway on Rhodes, and an unscheduled stop for Daniel Dye.
I'm not sure about that second time.
Yeah, it looks like it.
First slide. Yeah, he barely got a little damage that first time, but you can see the right front tire, well, all the letters worn off it as well as the right rear.
You can see also that rear bumper cover filled with big scratch on it there. That's shoved over. That's just painful to try to drive a truck that's already loose when you cave that right rear end on it.
And we talked about the job that these drivers had to do at the start of the race. Well, that just made this a lot harder for him to try to plump his way in to the top 8.
Well, looks like cutting his hair might not have been the key to trying to get to the next round of the playoffs for Daniel Dye here tonight as he goes a lap down with the unscheduled stop, having to change tires on the right side of that race truck after hitting the wall a second time. This time it looked to have cut the right front, but we did stay under green during all that, so unfortunately, in the process of staying green, like I mentioned already, he has lost a lap. And Ty Majewski's right behind him looking to put him a second lap down as well, which would not be good for Daniel Dye because we know how tough it is to come from 2 laps down. That's almost a death sentence, especially in a shorter Truck Series race like this. Truck Series races in general are typically short, but especially when they're 200 miles rather than the 250-mile races. First stage is only 30 laps, but going a second lap down, he won't be able to put himself in position to get the wave around. To get back on the lead lap, he would have to take the wave around to get back to 1 lap down, and he already came in minus 7 points to that of Grant Enfinger. And Dye had a good starting spot, started 10th, but has gotten into the wall a couple times, which is first time dropped him out of the top 10, second time dropped him off the lead lap. And as for Grant Enfinger, he is sitting in 20th, nowhere near stage point positioning order late in stage 1. 13 laps to go in the first stage as of right now. Again, your top 5, Ty Majeski in the lead. Nick Sanchez is now taking over second place just post the last commercial break. Christian Eckes is in 3rd, Stuart Freeze in 4th, and Caden Honeycutt is back in the top 5 and 5th. Honeycutt, another one of those drivers in the owner's standings, at least as the 45 truck stands. He is driving that truck here tonight, as he has for most of the season. Ross Chastain won in that truck back at Charlotte earlier this year, and that is the reason why Honeycutt is, or I should say, that 45 truck for Nice Motorsports considered a playoff team. Looks like they're cutting to another commercial break with 11 laps to go in stage 1, so we'll just go through the full field running order for the first time in the early going to this race then. Again, Ty Majeski is the race leader. He's got a 2.4 second advantage over Nick Sanchez. Christian Eckes a couple tenths behind that in 3rd. Caden Honeycutt now up to 4th place, another spot gain for him. Taylor Gray in 5th, Stuart Breeze in 6th, Lane Riggs up to 7th, Corey Heim from 33rd to 8th in this first stage. Connor Mosack in 10th, but that is after Tanner Gray in 9th. So Gray 9th and Mosack 10th. That is the top 10 in the running order. Dawson Sutton is in 11th, Matt Mills 12th, Corey Day 13th, Ben Rhodes 14th, Dean Thompson 15th, 16th for Jake Garcia, Tyler Ankrum 17th, Chase Purdy 18th, 19th for Bailey Curry, and Grant Enfinger again is in 20th. Rajah Carew 21st, Brendan Queen 22nd, Lawless Allen 23rd, Matt Crafton 24th, and Brett Holmes 25th. Timmy Hill 26th, Justin Mondyke 27th, Spencer Boyd 28th, and Nathan Bird, last truck, currently on the lead lap in 29th. 30th, Marco Andretti is a lap down, Jennifer Jo Cobb 2 laps down at 31st, Connor Daly 2 laps down at 32nd. Remember, he had the start violation as well at the beginning of the race. Daniel Dye is 2 laps down as well, as we mentioned already, and then Frankie Muniz, after making that unscheduled stop a couple laps in, is now currently 4 laps down, but back on track. So that is the 34 truck running order. Average race speed 162.59 miles per hour in the first just over 12.5 minutes into this race. Currently working lap 23 of 30 in stage 1, lap 23 of 134 entirely in this race. Christian Eckes led the first 6 laps of the race after starting in the 3rd place position, and Ty Majeski, who ended up starting on the pole, was able to lead for now 3 different times, 16 laps total. 2 different times Christian Eckes led with those 6 laps led, as that was a back and forth battle there those first 4 or 5 laps, and he was side by side for Majeski for the lead before clearing him, and then a few laps later Majeski got around him for what has been the final time so far. Regine Huddleston, Wade, thanks for tuning in as well. NASCAR Penske Cup Series Racing, welcome. And yep, that is the cue, I believe, from Wade in the chat. For those of you that don't know, I am a Detroit Tigers or Detroit sports fan for pretty much nearly every sport, minus football, where I'm a Packers fan, of course, as I'm wearing this jersey. But needless to say, my Detroit Tigers, for the first time in 10 years, have now qualified for the playoffs. That game was wrapping up right as I was starting the stream. I was unable to catch the last couple innings, but felt confident that they were up 4-1. They were going to be able to hold on and win, and they did. So congratulations to them. I'm very elated, as, you know, I mean, this is the most excited I've been about baseball in the last 10 years, so cool to see. Had to win tonight to clinch a playoff spot. Well, what are the next 3 nights to get a playoff spot, and they did just that. So congratulations to them. Back on the race side of things, Ty Majeski still continues to lead, although Christian Eckes has regained 2nd place from Nick Sanchez during the commercial break, and now is starting to close the gap on Majeski all of a sudden. He's only a 1.5 seconds off the lead. Not sure if Majeski's struggling in lap traffic or maybe burning the tires off of it a little too early in the run. Last camera shot that they had on Majeski, it did look like his truck was wiggling around quite a bit, getting off the corner, so he could be losing grip this late in the run. We'll have our first pit stops during the stage end, which is coming very shortly. Oh man, another big loose moment for Lane Riggs as well, off of turn 4.
Let's try. Really, I've been watching it, Jamie, and even passing trucks, he's among the top 2 or 3 fastest trucks each and every lap around here. is he's going to make his way around the outside of Lane Ridge to take over that fifth spot.
So you look at the pylon, there's a lot of colors going on. Playoff drivers are highlighted in yellow. You talked about Taylor Gray getting those much needed points in the top 10 here at the end of this stage. And in green, they advance to the round of 8. They can breathe a nice side. They're locked in. This Corey Heim is so impressive. That 11 truck right there from the back to the top 5.
Until next week. That's when they start not breathing again.
And it's Talladega.
It's Talladega, yes.
The round of 8.
And I just think it's so rude. They just take 4 of them and put them on the cup on before they ever get to crank their engine. I don't like that, man. We're going to go to Talladega.
Hey, congrats. You made the top 8. Oh, by the way, you're going to that line.
We just need to do away with that line until we race Talladega because we know how unpredictable that event's going to be.
Talladega next week, then Homestead, and then Martinsville. How about that for 3 races in a row?
Corey Heim, that's the third.
How about that 11 truck of Corey Heim?
Wow.
Already up to third inside of 30 laps in this stage.
That's why he was so calm getting interviewed after he had a problem. He said, well, it's just the way it goes. They knew what they had.
Amazing job. And only 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds behind our leader, Majeski. You're right, Michael. I'm sure Joe Shear said, we got to figure out something because that 11 truck's going to be tough to beat tonight.
Final lap of stage number 1.
This is turning yourself green right here. You want to be yellow, but you really want to be green, and Majeski's fixing to do just that.
Ty Majeski looking to pick up his 6th stage win of 2024. What a 4 race streak it has been for Ty Majeski. Picking up where he left off.
What a action-packed stage 1 it was. Man, slipping and sliding and passing. Great racing.
Ty Majeski led 24 laps. As Takashi comes out for the first time, we'll have pit stops on the backside.
All right, first scheduled pit stops of the race coming up. Nathan Burden, 28th, by the way, going to get the free pass to get back on the lead lap. We'll see if anybody tries to take the wave around and stay out of the pits here as well, as stage 2 is only 30 laps in length as well. And obviously, by the time we restart, we'll have a little less than that remaining. In the second stage tonight, our fuel window is 50 to 55 laps. So with the stage yellow, it could be possible to make it unfueled at the end. And this is our first caution, as we didn't have an incidental yellow in those first 30. So the stage yellow at lap 30. Again, this is the first caution. Alrighty. Truck Series is going to be racing the Roval in Charlotte in the round of 8 in 2025. I did not hear of this yet. So if they announced the Truck Series schedule earlier today, I will actually Google for that right now. We can go over that during the race while it's under commercial. That tells me they're probably going to have the Xfinity Series. No, they did announce the Xfinity Series. Okay, so we'll go over the Xfinity Series schedule tomorrow during the Xfinity Series race. I think that only makes more sense. So as far as the Truck Series schedule for 2025, got the Daytona International Speedway, of course, kicking things off. Back-to-back super speedways, just as they had this year. They go Daytona, then Atlanta, Vegas, and then, of course, we heard the Cup Series was no longer going to have Homestead in the playoffs, so we kind of figured that was going to be the same for the lower series. So that is the same for Homestead as well in the trucks. Now, we also knew that Rockingham was going to return to the Truck and Xfinity Series schedule, but it was not going to be on the actual truck side of the schedule. And sorry about me saying them announcing the Truck Series schedule. This schedule has actually been out for a little bit now. So I don't know why I said it that way. But yeah, Rockingham for the Truck Series next year. Texas, Kansas, back to North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Oval, of course, in the regular season. Nashville, and then Michigan is back on the schedule. Great to see as a fan of the Michigan International Speedway. Of course, that being my home track, kind of sucked that the Truck Series was not there this year out of randomness. But Truck Series will be at Michigan next year. Pocono, and then we know that they're going to Lime Rock, a road course race in the state of Connecticut. So interesting to see Lime Rock Park on the schedule. And then the regular season finale next year for the Truck Series will be at Indianapolis Raceway Park, where they have been running now for the last few years. Watkins Glen returns to the Truck Series schedule. That will be the playoff opener for the round of 10. Then they go to Richmond and Darlington. I think I had that wrong, actually. Indy is not the... Unless it's... Yeah, they got the schedule weird on NASCAR.com. So the regular season finale is going to be Richmond again, just as it was this year. So Watkins Glen, Richmond. Then playoffs, you got Darlington, Bristol, New Hampshire in the round of 10, round of 8, Charlotte, Roval, Talladega, Martinsville, and Phoenix for the finale.
For that 11 car water, 11 truck.
There's a wrench in it. You also saw a little bit of trouble on that right rear tire change going on the left side now, but an adjustment was definitely made there.
Let's go down to Todd.
99 Ben Rose, we've talked about how loose this truck is. He's wrecking loose. Doug Randolph, the crew chief, is taking a big swing, Michael. He's putting a big wrench in the back of this truck to try to help his driver.
We're back from the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm watching Justin Reed and Xavier Worthy on their feet with cell phones watching that pit stop for Rajah Caruthi. Said that the truck started off free, but then somehow just snugged up. Not big adjustments for them, but coming back to you, Todd, I know there were some major adjustments there for Ben Rhodes. What's Doug having to say?
Doug Randolph, this looked like a handful for your driver, Ben Rhodes. What kind of adjustments you make? Yeah, it's really extremely loose on him right there. He could run about 10 laps, and then it just got terrible on him. So we yard sailed it, trying to do all we can here to get us back in the game. Michael said you put the big wrench in the back. Is that right? We put a wrench everywhere a wrench could go here.
Randolph. So that's a great analysis of what went down there. Good job down there, Todd. Thanks, Doug, for the time to talk about what's going on in this pit stop. You saw major adjustments.
We'll see if all those adjustments help Ben Rhodes. Stage number 2 coming up next.
I like that line. We stuck a wrench everywhere a wrench could go. That was crew chief there for Ben Rhodes. Major adjustments being made to that 99 truck to try to help get him into the next round of the playoffs, as he did not have a very fun first stage. No stage points for him. Good news is that Grant Enfinger also didn't score any stage points, as he was still mid-pack as well. So 12 points can be obtainable for him if they can get that 99 truck going in the right direction here and make the right fine-tuned adjustments on it, as this is the first of probably 3 pit stops here this evening. Christian Eckes is going to win the race off of pit road. He will be the leader. Corey Heim, who ended up finishing 3rd at the end of stage 1. Insane after starting 33rd. 30 spots gained in just the first 30 laps of the race for him. So Eckes, again, will be the leader on the restart. We'll wait for our leaderboard update this next time by the start-finish line under caution before we go through the top handful of drivers there for the next restart. We'll take another break. Until then, you're listening live on KRC to the Kubota Tractor 200. Break in the chat saying, go Pack, go. There we go. Yeah, that's just insane, though, that the Truck Series playoffs, the round of 8 is Roval, Dega, what'd I say, Martinsville? Might have to pull that back up again. That's a wild round. Yeah, Roval, Dega, Martinsville. What race? What race did they have in the round of 8? They just announced the Roval in there. Was it? No, it wasn't that. There was another track that they had in that spot before the Roval, wasn't it? You have to let me know in the chat. Watching SmackDown tonight after the stream? No. No, I'll be watching the highlights in the morning. I'm going to bed after the stream. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm doing. All right, so get ready for this upcoming restarts.
Second, third, fourth. Well, we got one of our 10 that's running next to last. So Daniel Dye, I think we can pretty much count him out. Battle between 2 or 3 guys to get those last couple of spots. There's the 43 of Daniel Dye. Daniel's 2 laps down, but he's in a bind, Bill.
Yeah.
We also documented Ben Rhodes and his issues with the truck and trying to make it better. They threw everything they could at it. He'll restart 21st. Let's listen to his radio.
And we're going to try out those that we make sure we didn't have anything that's here with the fire. I need to let them know. I think kind of hard on it.
I don't think that was the case. I think Doug Randolph, I don't know if he's going to tell Ben that he put a wrench everywhere one would fit, but the adjustments were definitely made. We saw that on TV.
We watched. He adjusted the wedge on both sides of the rear as well as the track bars. So that truck should be different.
And no telling what he did to the air pressure that we couldn't see.
Exactly.
We'll see here if it plays out for Ben Rhodes. He can make up some spots. Talked about the issues with Daniel Dye, too. We'll go home. Let's get an update on the 9 Grand F finger. Todd.
Yeah, as crazy as this sounds and is what we've seen on the racetrack with all these guys that literally sideways loose, Grant Enfinger actually likes this truck. He says it's just a tiny bit tight. Jeff Stankovic, the crew chief, did a small, very small air pressure adjustment. So that's quite the opposite of what we've seen every other truck on this racetrack.
That may bode well here once we get going. We didn't see Grant make a whole lot of ground up in that first stage. You would think he would have.
As bad as everybody was slipping and sliding, if he wasn't, you would have thought he would have driven to the top 5 just like Corey Heim did. We didn't see that speed. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll see here in this stage.
Corey Heim is driven from the back of the pack to the front row as Christian Eckes will restart on the inside. Corey Heim on the outside. Ty Majeski, Nick Sanchez just behind him. The advantage goes to Christian Eckes on the inside line. Ty Majeski tries to take over. Doesn't work there. 3-4 wide. We got the 7 truck rush the wall right there into turn 1.
Sanchez jumps in the middle. Power 3 wide.
Lane Riggs, that's a hard line to take on the bottom of 3. Trucker only wants to get loose down there.
Sanchez gives him some room now. He's going to move up behind the red and black number 11 of Corey Heim.
I'll tell you what they need to do, if at all possible, keep the red, black 11 of Corey behind them. I think when he gets in the front, he could say so it all.
And they're just moving to the outside of Majeski right there, the guy that dominated that first stage. Majeski fighting back.
Corey Heim, the winner here in May. It's also a 2-time ARCA and Art Series winner. It's actually his first win in the ARCA Series of 2020. The Toyota saw him, signed him up, and gave him the opportunity he has here tonight.
Yeah, I think he only ran 3 ARCA races that year when he got that win at Kansas, and then did an outstanding just racing time gift week in, week out that following year for the championship. I think he runs 6 races that next season.
Nice move off too by Lane Riggs. He was able to clear Sanchez, and he's going to get that position. Look at that strong run Lane makes off the corner there, closing in on our stage 1 winner, Ty Majeski.
I'm so impressed with Lane Riggs. You look back at how they ran here in May. Finished 18th, just not very good, wrapping their arms around things, figuring it out. Now they've dialed it in and won 2 straight races.
And he's going after Ty Majeski right now. Remember, it was really almost the first half of the season, first 9 races or something that, was nothing indicative of what he's been able to do here in the last number of races.
Yeah, you talked about the 2 wins. There were 2 top 5s prior to that. 4 races in a row. 5th, 1st, 1st.
Unfortunately, he just missed the playoffs. Imagine what he'd be doing if he was in the mix.
He announced that he will be back next year, and he said we're gonna show him something in the playoffs next year. Well, he's showing him something in the playoffs now. Unfortunately, this doesn't count towards the championship.
Corey Day there beside Dean Thompson in the 5 truck. Grant Enfinger up to 15th, so he's making some progress now.
A lot of laps today at this place for Corey Day. Ran the ARCA Series earlier today. Had a really good showing. His best effort out of his 3 starts in the ARCA Series.
Yeah, doing a nice job here, running up in the top 15. Battle right now for that 13th spot with Dean Thompson.
I talked about the experience of Ben Rhodes and the slipping and sliding that he had to address. He didn't want to get himself in trouble. That could be the story from veteran Grant Enfinger as well, just making sure he takes care of that truck, knowing when it's time to go. Day there at the number 91 truck. This was him earlier. Whoa, look at the sage.
A little drifting. Saw that a couple different times. Here he is getting together last lap with Andy Jankoriak. Before he was going to survive and finish in the top 5, Andy J said, I wish you could give me a little bit more room.
Rightfully so. Yeah. Nothing malicious there. Just going for it on the last lap.
Absolutely.
Ran Andy J. Glad you cleared that up for me, Phil. I was going to try to say his last name.
That's just easier. It's just easy.
Lead right now, heating up. Corey High is trying to take the lead away from Christian Eckens. Oh, the battle this year between these two guys.
You just rarely see them racing together. You just rarely.
They find each other every single race. And other than one time, I think they've raced each other nicely. They had words about one time and got over it.
Oh, there's a move. I think Corey wanted to go to the outside, and Christian said, well, let me take that outside away. Corey said, well, okay, I'll go to the inside.
Wow. Some serious driving right there. He made a lot of decisions on that front straightaway, and ultimately the right one to get the lead.
I love the no out of bounds here. You can run all over this racetrack, all the way down to the grass. We have a new leader. Corey High leads for the first time tonight over Christian Eckes. More from Kansas after this.
All right, Corey Heim out in front for the first time here tonight in Kansas Speedway. Will it be Heim time? So far, that is the case, as he has come from 33rd starting position to the lead in just 47 laps. Got up to 3rd just in the first 30. Christian Eckes still sits in the 2nd place position right now, 1/10 of a second off the lead. 8/10 back is Lane Riggs in 3rd, trying to go for 3 wins in a row, so look out for Riggs on a hot streak. Ty Majeski is sitting 4th. He's 2.5 off the lead. He had locked himself into the round of 8 of the playoffs on points in stage 1, by the way. 5th place position, Nick Sanchez, 2.6 seconds off the lead, battling Taylor Gray, who is in 7th. 6th, rather, as Gray is also 2.6 seconds off the lead. Tanner Gray, his brother, is in 7th. He's 3 seconds back of the race leader. 3.7 seconds off the lead is Caden Honeycutt, 8th. Bailey Curry, 9th. 5 seconds back, and 5.4 seconds off the lead is Stuart Friesen in 10th. That is the top 10 of the running order. Just over a half hour into this race. 128.97 mile per hour average race speed. Our only caution was the stage break at lap 30. No yellows for incident up to this point. Ty Majeski, after winning stage number 1, did go on to lead 26 laps from the pole in this one. Christian Eckes has led for 17. Seems like Eckes has good short run speed, lacking a little bit on the long run. And Corey Heim has now led the last 5 laps. Lane Riggs going to get up to the 2nd place position off turn 2 this lap 19 of 30 in stage 2. Lap 49 of 134 entirely in this race. Lane Riggs trying to go for 3 wins in a row. Trying to sweep the round of 10 as a non-playoff driver. Playoff field's got to be pretty lucky that he's not in the running for the championship, because he'd be a strong championship contender the way things are going. He hasn't looked this good on an intermediate track all season. At least on the short tracks, he's had top 5, top 10 trucks. Kind of gets better as the race goes on. But as of these last couple of weeks, kind of the same case where he gets better as the race goes on. By the end, he is just red hot. Nobody could catch him, and that may be the case again here today.
To Kansas Speedway. 50 laps in, 84 laps to go. Well, Craftsman's ultimate giveaway is here. Head over to craftsman.com now and enter for a chance to win $10,000 worth of select Craftsman products and an all-new 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Now that's a giveaway,
Love
Michael.
that now. A garage full of tools and a Tacoma? How do they do it? We've got great partners here in the Craftsman Truck Series. Craftsman does an excellent job. Thank you for all you do for the fans.
We sure do. It's exciting. That's a big giveaway.
Look at Taylor Gray racing inside of Nick Sanchez. Great run for Gray when he really needed it.
Again, the only driver other than Majeski who locked himself in with that stage win that got points that needed him that wasn't already locked in.
Taylor Gray, 19 years old from Artesia, Mexico. He gives so much credit to Jeff Hensley, his crew chief, and Tricon Garage, what they've been able to do this year together.
Right behind him is his brother Tanner. Those guys both running from top 10. Great run for Tanner.
How about a great day for Tanner and Knight? Did a great job in that arch race.
That was him skimming along the fence, wasn't it?
I think
What
so.
about this guy? Talking about great runs, Bailey Curry. Solidly inside the top 10, running behind his teammate, Caden Honeycutt. Good trucks for Nice Motorsports. There you see those guys mixing it up. Guarantee if Carson Hosevar somewhere watching this performance by this team, cheering them on. Such a great driver for this organization. Ross Chastain as well. Al
Ross
Nice.
went to Victory Lane this year at Darlington, one of those Nice trucks.
And remember how excited he was? He said, this is how it all started for me. And he was able, there's that 15 truck I saw skimming along the fence. Look at him right up there next to it.
Tanner Gray, just a few hours ago, dominated the Art Menard Series race. This was the last restart, so there was contact. Going into turn one, we saw some smoke. He made it all the way around. That left rear was down. This was after he took the checkered flag.
Just seconds after he took the checkered flag.
He wasn't able to do a burnout. Got out. It was a little redemption. He dominated the race, led almost the whole thing in the spring race, and lost. So he came back, dominated again, has led over 160 laps this year. So it's showing up here as he's having another good run in the truck here, running 7.
Yeah, I think his last 4 or 5 starts this year in the ARCA Series, his worst finish is 3rd.
Let's get an update on Corey Heim. What a run!
How impressive Jamie with 5 laps to get ready down the team, but he still is too a little too free. So there will be some adjustments on that 11 at that stop. But he said if there was anywhere on this schedule that I can win, it's right here in Kansas. And anything less than that is just not acceptable in this team. The guy that is trying to chase him down, a Blaine Riggs, I asked Corey, what do you think of Blaine in his defensive left? And he said, I knew this was possible. I knew this was going to happen. I'm just happy he stopped racing in this playoff.
Winner of our last 2 races, Lane Riggs, continuing to impress us week in and week out. His learning curve in this truck series is basically straight up. He's learning something every week. Tonight, he showed me, he said something on the radio the first run. I need to run where those guys are. Not necessarily for the arrow, but the grip of the racetrack. When he ran in the rubber that was already laid down, he did not like his truck. So he moved around. Better, probably better groove. Right now, it's crew chief Billy Capello is making adjustments for him. Lane said, I need a little more security to go up there and get that 11 truck.
Yeah, great insight, Todd. What a night. I'm just so impressed with Lane Riggs. I mean, the moves that he's made tonight would not have worked in this race in May when he tried, because he just didn't know enough about the trucks and how they would handle here. 99 at Ben Rhodes, they threw everything they possibly could at it. Still struggling back there in 23rd.
Outside the top 20, I think. More adjustments are on the way, but Doug Randolph, experienced, smart crew chief, he knows what he did, and he knows what he needs to undo or add to the adjustments. You see him there battling with Brennan the 1, Butterbean, for that top 20. Okay. Still loose, so
Yeah, so the second he goes to full throttle, back in and snap around. So now all they can give you is about 50%. So again, Doug Randolph's going to have to make some more adjustments. And he's not afraid to do that as well.
Green flag checkers in the air for Corey Heim. Picks up stage number 2. There's Flame Riggs, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, Taylor Gray, your top 5. That's the 8th stage win for Corey Heim this season. Just like that, 2 stages are complete. We'll step aside, but we'll have pit stops and more adjustments after this.
All right, so Ty Majeski winning stage 1 was the 6th stage win of the year, and as you just heard from Jamie Little there going to the break, it's the 8th stage win of the season for Corey Heim. Series most is 9 for Christian Eckes, who ends up 3rd at the end of stage number 1, and he was 2nd at the end of stage 2. Again, Heim, Eckes, and Sanchez were the 3 drivers locked into the playoffs on points coming into the race. Ty Majeski, during stage 1, had locked himself into the next round based off of points merit as well. And we may see a couple other drivers through these first 2 stages lock themselves in potentially. Also, let me look at that playoff standings coming into the race real quick. It is possible that Raja Caruth did. I'm not sure. No, he didn't, because he didn't score any stage points in stage 1, and he only gets 1 stage point in stage 2. So Corey Heim wins stage number 2, Lane Riggs 2nd, Christian Eckes 3rd, Ty Majeski 4th, Taylor Gray 5th, Nick Sanchez 6th, Tanner Gray 7th, Caden Honeycutt 8th, Bailey Curry 9th, Raja Caruth 10th. That's the top 10, all receiving stage points again in stage 2 here tonight. We're going to close the chat polls. We're at the end of stage 2 as well. Thank you all for voting. 29% taking Christian Eckes for the win. So that changed. It was Corey Heim at the end of stage 1. End of stage 2, it looks like Christian Eckes is going to win our chat poll. Waiting for the stats to pop up on screen. Read them back up to you. I hit end poll and it disappeared on me. There we go. Yeah, 29% taking Eckes for the win, 27% with other, 25% taking Corey Heim and Ty Majeski at just 17% of the votes. Very tight poll tonight, though. Appreciate everybody for voting, all 51 of you. And appreciate everybody that's hit the like button so far in the stream. Be sure to do so if you haven't yet. We're at 30 likes. Let's try to get that up to 50 before the end of the race. Try to get to our goal of 50. And we'll take a quick break and we'll get pit stops for the 2nd time tonight on the other side. You're listening live to the Truck Series on KRC.
Stage number 2 is in the book as we're getting ready for pit road to open. For those adjustments, fresh tires. There's a look at the stage points earned tonight. Corey Heim with 18, Ty Majeski. See Christian Eckes, 17 points earned tonight. Just got this little nugget. He has now set the record for stage points scored in a season, and he's done it in 19 races. 270 points earned in stage racing.
He has turned it on in 2024. It's been so cool to watch that young man. So close last year, just a couple mistakes late kept him from advancing in the playoffs, but he's got it figured out this year, doesn't he?
Remember, the only non-top 10 finish he had all year long was at Atlanta when he had brake issues, and he was leading the race then. What an amazing season it's been for Christian Eckes.
3-time winner on the season already.
Really neutral, like the truck. But as the run went, it started to get tight again. Jeff Stankiewicz made some more adjustments, but I think you're right, Phil. I think he's just right. The competition right now. Okay,
Yeah, the wrench has been the word of the night. Raja Caruth told him, team, I need this truck tighter. Put a wrench in it. His team told him, hey, man, thanks for hanging with us tonight. It has been a great night for this team on pit road. They've gained 4 position in the laptop down pit road, Todd. So we'll keep an eye on Raja.
here with Jeff Stankiewicz, Granite Fingers crew chief. Jeff, you're one of the few trucks on this racetrack is complaining about tight. You've made some adjustments the first run, got him better, but he went back tight. What'd you do this time?
We took a little wedge out of the left rear, and we did some air pressure as well. Our truck's actually not bad. It gets to about a 1 tight and just kind of stays there. It never gets tighter. But the biggest thing we struggle with is track position. I feel like the further we can get to the front, the better the truck's going to drive, more downforce, and have more speed. So Pit Crew's been killing it for us tonight. I think we're 11th or 12th right now, so we've gained about 8 or 9 spots on pit road tonight in the first 2 stops. So if we can just keep inching our way forward, I think the truck will just get better as we get further to the front.
There you have it. A couple of veterans racing their own race tonight.
We saw that tire. The NASCAR official is retrieving it from the infield grass. Phil, I think it was Butterbean Queen's truck you see there.
See if that
See it hit the wall?
yeah, just bounced off the wall, and the guy that was supposed to catch it missed it.
That will mean that one of Brendan has to go to the rear of the field on this restart.
Looked like it was a decent pit stop for him too. He came out right behind Tyler Ankrum.
So adjustments have been made. Second half of the race, third and final stage is coming up next.
All right, so stage 2 has come to an end. Yeah, sorry for that buffering a little bit ago. I put my laptop on the charger, and I found that when we do get buffering, it is because my laptop is charging mid stream. I had it fully charged at the beginning of the stream, and it is down to 29% right now. So I'm trying to keep the stream afloat. So as soon as I plugged it in, I noticed we started buffering. I unplugged it, and the buffering went away. So not sure why that is the case. But needless to say, looks like Connor Daly gets the free pass during the stage end to get back on the lead lap. Both cautions tonight are just the stage ends. We haven't seen any yellows for incident to this point. And the 2 stage ends were at lap 30 and lap 60. Corey Heim won stage 2 after starting 33rd, and Ty Majeski won stage 1 from the pole. So both each receiving a playoff point, and they're already locked into the next round on points. Waiting for this next restart. We'll wait for our leaderboard update as well. While we wait for the leaderboard, there we go. Okay, so next restart, we will have Corey Heim in the lead, followed by Lane Riggs in second, Christian Eck is third, Nick Sanchez fourth, Tanner Gray up to fifth, Ty Majeski sixth, Connor Mosak 17, Thompson 8th, Raja Kruth 9th, and Bailey Curry 10th. So that is the top 10 in the running order. Our champion, and this was my favorite driver, at least growing up as a kid, and that is Greg the Biff Biffle. Greg Biffle right here, the Biff. And this is from 2011, his 3M paint scheme from this season. Ford Fusion, car of tomorrow with the spoiler. One of the few car of tomorrow diecasts with the spoiler that I actually have of these 124 scale, excuse me. So with this being a Truck Series race here tonight at Kansas, figured we'd have this. Former Kansas winner in the Cup Series as well, so there you have it. And Greg Biffle, the diecast showing for tonight. This was actually the first 124 scale diecast I ever got. I ended up getting it at the NASCAR race park down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. For those of you that have not been there, I highly recommend it. It's just like a go-kart track. If you ever go to like Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, there are obviously tourist towns, tourist cities in the southern part of Tennessee. The Great Smoky Mountains, very mountainy area, but a lot of theme parks that are go-kart related or putt-putt course related. That one, of course, was go-kart related, but there was a bunch of different tracks there. And they actually have a bigger half-mile sized racetrack that you need to have a driver's license to be able to race, and the go-karts are more souped up. And they're kind of shaped like mini NASCARs, which is kind of cool. I was too young at the time. I was only 15. I had my permit at the time, but I didn't have my driver's license. They still wouldn't let me in there. And then my dad was like, he actually races, like quarter midgets and races go-karts. And they're like, yeah, he still can't do that. I'm like, I'm like, this it makes it's so weird. It's like I can race something that goes faster than the governed go-karts that you guys have. That just seems so odd to me. Whatever. I mean, they're just doing their job. They're doing what they're told. But anyway, yeah, still highly recommend going there. They got some racing simulators there too. I don't think it was iRacing. It might be iRacing now, but it could have been at the time too. This was a while ago. I mean, this is 10, 11 years ago when I went there. So yeah, I definitely think that if you are a NASCAR fan, which everybody here is, I highly recommend going there. All right, stage 3 about to begin. And Corey Heim on the pole. Lap number 69 officially in the restart. We'll have 66 laps left at the green flag. And again, we are racing. Corey Heim gets the quick little shove from behind by Christian Eckes in the 19 truck. Gonna get to the line first. Couple trucks down to the bottom, trying to take it 3 wide into the first turn. Eckes all over that back bumper of Corey Heim in that restart. He was pushing him all the way well into turn 1 before letting go. And Heim comes out of turn 2 with a multiple truck length lead down the back straightaway. Nick Sanchez getting a big push over to go with it on the outside after Majeski was on his back bumper. Elaine Riggs was right there in front of him. Riggs trying to stay to the outside of Eckes. Eckes tried to slide up and take Riggs' line away from him, but was unable to do so. Momentum off the high side by Riggs, not enough to clear, though, with Eckes again side drafting very aggressively, down the front stretch. This time he's going to try the slide job again off turn 2, but again, not clear. Riggs just enough room to stay above him. Eckes continues that hard side draft on the left rear corner panel of Riggs' race truck. And this side-by-side battle for second is allowing for Corey Heim to pull away just a bit. Oh, big sled job nearly gone wrong for Tanner Gray as he almost slid up into the wall off turn 4, trying to get by Nick Sanchez. That was off camera, but I saw it. And multiple spots lost for Tanner Gray as a result. And speaking of big slide job, Christian Eckes taking the line away of Lane Riggs, and Riggs has to get way out of the gas for Eckes, who is out of shape, and he loses several positions, and now the 38 truck is back to about 6th. Tanner Gray, Bailey Curry in the back half of the top 10. Things are getting wild on this restart. Slide jobs galore.
In the third spot right now. Some great action right behind them, though.
Front, we know he's good at this racetrack, winning ARCA a couple times, but this is his best truck performance. Amanda, how's it going down there in the pit?
Michael to Connor prior to this race, he said the reason why Kansas is such a nice fit for him, this is also the only track in trucks that he has 2 visits at now. So he's really leaning on that experience running in the top 10 now. It is his 9th truck race in total, and his best finish is 8th at Charlotte. So you have to think that Connor Mosack is
Dive inside of Rajah Peru.
Man,
Here he is right there. He's able to clear Rajah, move away. Bailey Curry, the 41, is going to try to latch on to that 71.
we haven't seen very many trucks do there what Purdy did, go to the bottom and make it work, gain ground down there while making a pass, but just show you how versatile that truck is. That's 3 and 4. He takes it right up to the fence. I like what I'm seeing from Purdy.
Rajah Caruth running for a championship for the first time. What a season he's had. Got his first and only career win. Got the stage win. Secured those points.
That's a tough racetrack, man. You go there with it stacked up against you and you perform. You've done a night's work, and he did a great job there. I don't think there's anywhere I'd rather not go on a schedule when I needed a good run than Bridget. It's just so tough.
59 laps to go from Kansas. Corey Heim continues to lead out. We will step aside, but you won't miss a thing as we go side by side.
Old NASCAR side-by-side commercial break, lap 76 in this one. Corey Heim up on the high side. Christian Eckes actually running him down, hard into the wall. Corey Day head on into turns, it looks like 3 and 4. 42 truck also involved in the incident. That would be Matt Mills. That was a violent impact for Corey Day, making his second career truck start. Couple of saves in the ARCA race earlier on. Was not able to save that. Been a tough start to the stock car racing career of great young dirt racing phenom Corey Day. Wrecked out of his first career ARCA start late, about a month or so ago, and then today ruffled some feathers and now a huge hit in this race. A lot of fluids leaking out from underneath the race truck. Might be another one of those lengthier cleanup cautions. And it's our first crash of the night, our first incidental caution, if you will. Both drivers are out of their trucks under their own power, which is good to see. And they will be taking the mandatory trip to the infield care center. Well, 57 laps to go under caution where we're working right now. We're just inside that fuel window to make it to the end, so I'd imagine we'll be seeing our final pit stops of the race coming up during this caution period. Again, Corey Hive was in the race lead at the time of the yellow. Christian Eckes in second, Nick Sanchez third, Lane Riggs fourth, Tanner Gray fifth, Connor Mosak sixth, Ty Majeski seventh, Chase Purdy eighth, Bailey Curry ninth, and Raj Crew 10th.
Time for contact as the 42 of Matt Mills and the 91 of Corey Day got together. Big hit for Corey Day. You see the front of that race truck.
Going down the back stretch here. This is kind of confusing, Phil. We were viewing this during caution. Watch the 42.
Not sure what happened there. That was Taylor Gray. Remember, Taylor went back, made a second pit stop, so he was at the back, making his way back towards the front.
That's a huge hit for Corey Day.
Corey Day and Matt Mills were battling for position as well. What happened? I'm not sure why that truck all of a sudden turned right like it did. So if we take a look at Grant Enfinger's on board. You saw him move to the inside, then I'm just not sure what caused that truck to veer right as hard as it did.
That's hard to figure. I mean, look at the left front. Everything looks normal.
Yeah.
And then that just turned.
I mean, they're essentially in the middle of the straightaway.
Wow. And watch Day.
He's going to get almost head on the wall. Sure did.
Big hit for the 18-year-old out of Clovis, California, making his second truck series start.
Doing a nice job, just running, learning. We know how inexperienced he is. Didn't do anything wrong there. Totally just a victim of circumstance.
This gets us very, very close to our pit window. Right now, there's 56 laps to go.
You got to go for it, don't you?
I think you got to stop. At
That's
least
what I
put
mean.
fuel in it. Save that set of tires, Michael, but let's top it off.
You talked earlier, Phil, last stage last year went green.
We're all green, yeah.
Get a chance here, fill it up with gas.
I think you have to do it. Once you get in your window, I think you got to get enough fuel to get to the end. I think tires are going to mean enough that we need to save that last set of tires. But let's come in, and it's only been about 14, 15 laps since we stopped. You see, Tom Majeski is going to do that very thing.
A bunch of the guys at the back will do that. The front runners decided not to.
I'm a little surprised at that.
We were talking about Majeski needing those adjustments, how his truck was strong at the beginning, but then he faded. So they're going to get those tires. There's the adjustment you see in the back of the truck. 4 tires.
Ben Rhodes still not happy with this truck. The big adjustment Doug made didn't help it. They're making some more catchy adjustments, a lot of air pressure. Ben's really struggling tonight. This is not the night they needed. They needed to get up, get those stage points, help themselves.
I like that move. So put forward new tires on. Now you can always put these tires back on, Michael, if we run 25 or 30 laps and you feel like you need some better tires. And obviously all the guys that have stayed on the racetrack cannot make it to the end of the race. If this race goes green, that'll put you in front of all of them. So I think it's a great move by Doug Randolph. As Todd was talking about, put tires on it, make some more adjustments, and see if we can make something happen, because it doesn't look like it's going to happen for him on the racetrack as far as being competitive.
Until you see here, we talked about the fact that Gray was right in the middle of that red. He took some contact to that right rear. Look how shiny that tire is. The team has determined that it's not rubbing, or they relieved it from a rub. And you see the damage on the right rear. We talk about how important that is. This is another guy down there fighting for his playoff future. He's got damage. Look at that bent side he has.
Continue under caution here. 55 laps to go. More action still to come. Who makes it in? Who doesn't? We'll be back. 55 laps to go.
These restarts at Kansas tend to be really wild when we get into these late race restart scenarios, so it'll be interesting to see how this next one will go about. Currently working 54 laps to go in the Kubota Tractor 209 at Kansas Speedway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and getting ready for this upcoming restart again. Corey Heim is the race leader. He's led every green flag lap of Stage 3 so far. And total in this race, he has led quite a few laps. Most laps led in the race for Corey Heim. That's despite starting 33rd. And the fact we're only on lap 80. 37 laps led for Heim, 27 for pole sitter Ty Majeski, 26 rather, and then 17 for Eckes. Those are the only 3 drivers to lead at least 1 lap in the race today. And they've led 17 plus between the 3 of them. 7 lead changes total between those 3 as well. 2 times that Heim has led, 3 for Eckes and 3 for Majeski. Of course, Majeski starting on the pole, so that wouldn't have been a lead change off the initial start. That's how we get our 7. 113.8 mile per hour average race speed, and we're a little over an hour from the drop of the green flag tonight to where we are right now. Again, early going Stage 3, working our 3rd caution, our first caution for incident of the day. First race was Degas, second race Bristol. Tried to get him to go to other tracks. No, I've seen the smallest and the biggest. I mean, those are 2 really good racetracks, but there's a lot of other good ones out there for sure. Those are definitely 2 great racetracks to start off on, I will say. It's hard to it's hard when you start there and then try to venture off to different ones. I'm glad I didn't start going, to those ones and then try to go to other ones on top of it. Because it's hard to get your expectations exceeded. I mean, Daytona would obviously be another one on there that would definitely be another one you should probably go to, especially if it's a 500. There's so much prestige in that. And you could feel that in the crowd, especially in those waning 20, 30 laps of the race. Every pass for the lead, everybody's cheering no matter who it is. Just a lot of race fans.
On Taylor's race trucks, quite a bit of damage there. I bust out the old tools.
Oh, man.
The tools. It's the Open Garage giveaway. It's here, Michael. Head over to Craftsman.com now and enter for a chance to win $10,000 worth of select Craftsman products and an all-new 2024 Toyota Tacoma.
Just fill the bed of that truck with tools.
Yeah, take them home and bring them to your garage. Yeah. Look at the left rear on the 17 truck as well with Taylor Gray. It's been hit so far. They've had to adjust that left rear too. Maybe bent that fender in a little bit, but the damage is...
It looks skewed.
The right side. Look at how much it's caved in. I don't think that's aerodynamically necessarily a bad thing, Phil. I've talked a lot about the right rear. As long as they get that damage clearance from that tire, Jeff Hensley elected not to put new tires on that truck. He wanted to save his set, but a lot of damage back there. Ben Rhodes has been on pit road as well, making adjustments. Look like maybe the shock absorbers in the rear.
Yeah, they had it jacked up onto the rear. Obviously, we saw him change tires the first time in. It's coming back down pit road here. We'll see it. I mean, they have to be running out of adjustments.
Topping off.
Top it off with fuel.
Smart move. I think they can make it.
I think that's simply a matter of topping off the fuel because, again, there's still 52 laps to go. It is not out of the realm of possibility, for these trucks to run out of fuel at 50 or 52 laps.
I think they can make it, honestly,
Yeah,
if it stays green.
The wall a little bit, scrubbed it. They had to work on the quarter panel. They went under there with the Sawzall, did something, but just fixing a little damage on it. But yet they made some serious adjustments this last stop.
It's a Hail Mary kind of night for the 99 and Ben Rhodes. Throw everything at it at this point.
Yeah, I think his only chance right now is for this race to go green the rest of the way. And all these trucks, we have 15 trucks that stayed on the racetrack. All of them will have to come to pit road before the end of this race and pass them that way. I think that's the only shot they have.
And it's not impossible this race stays green, because if we look at the track record this season that the Truck Series has had on intermediate racetracks, there hasn't been a lot of yellows. We'll see if that'll be the case here going forward tonight, as we haven't had a lot of yellows. Corey Heim leads us to the green, our next restart. Christian Eckes outside of row 1. Nick Sanchez inside row 2, giving the push to the back of the 11. 38 had to get the push from behind from the 7 before he got to the 19, so Eckes didn't fire off very well. Couple of trucks bottlenecking on that inside lane into the first turn. Sanchez going well up the racetrack, almost into the side of Lane Riggs. And the door-to-door battle for the lead continues on down the back straightaway. Eckes, despite not giving a good push, was great through the gears and was able to stay alongside the door of Corey Heim. Heim going to try it up and try to stay in front of the 19. Really took his line away, pinched him on corner exit, and Heim does hold on to the race lead on lap 86. Riggs side by side with Sanchez while having to block the truck on the outer lane just behind him. Raja Carruth clipping the apron, getting down into turn 1. Same for Tanner Gray. As low as you can go to try to pass the trucks to the outside of both of those two. Lane Riggs got back in front of Sanchez. Sanchez a little bit better run off the outside lane off the exit of turn 2. Drafted his way behind the 38. Pulled a slide job on the other end of the track through 3 and 4. And pulled clear. Meanwhile, the 38 goes to the apron in the middle of the tri-oval to get the crossover move made to get back by Sanchez and well clear into turn 1. So Riggs right back into third and right back to the outer groove through turns 1 and 2, while the two leaders of Heim and Eckes go to the bottom groove of the racetrack. Riggs down to the bottom now through 3 and 4, gets underneath the 19 and side by side for second off the exit of the corner. Riggs going to side draft, go back to the apron again. Heim trying to shortcut down to the apron also. Eckes now crosses over to the inside. Riggs must have been able to clear him. Lane Riggs up to second place, gets by Eckes. 3 wide middle as Ben Rhodes further back in traffic, along with the 17 and the 44. Lap truck Jennifer Joe Cobb just coming up out of the pits there on screen as well. Rhodes with slightly fresher tires, still back in 21st. We'll see if he can gain any more spots. Needs all the points he can get. He has to outpoint Grant Enfinger by 12. Neither Enfinger or Rhodes scored points in this race. Enfinger came in 12 points above Ben Rhodes, so 12 positions Rhodes has to finish ahead of that 9 truck from here to the finish. If he doesn't win, which he could, if this race goes green to the end, because fuel could be an issue for a lot of drivers. 33 truck of Lawless Allen very slow on the racetrack as trucks were sporadically trying to work their way on by. Matt Craftsman also going to come to pit road under green flag conditions. He misses the pits. He made it onto pit road and onto pit lane, but not all 4 tires were down below the cone on the entrance of pit road. I think that's going to be either a pass-through for him if they change 4, or he's going to have to come back down a second time. More on that in a little bit as Lane Riggs continues to close the gap on Corey Heim for the lead, lap number 90.
It's really able to move around. That truck is good all over this racetrack. So is the 11. He's trying to find that inch. You see there the fastest last lap, Christian Eckes. Corey Heim, second fastest.
Mike Riggs is being held up a little bit here by
aerodynamically, it's tough to run fast when you're right behind another guy. He'll have to look around and see if he can make adjustments to his line.
And that's what he did that last corner. Again, you talked at the top of the show. Hit them where they aim. Run where they aim.
There's Grant battling behind Dean Thompson.
Just outside the top 10. Grant right now holding down the 12th spot. I think the only thing right now that would really hurt Grant is if he did indeed have to stop for fuel. This race goes green, and Ben Rhodes is able to stay on the racetrack.
You could put a blanket over the battle for the lead right now. Up front, so close.
Ben Rhodes is making some ground on these competitors. You saw the damage truck of Taylor Gray. Those guys just inside the top 20.
Remember, new tires on the 99 did not change tires on the 17.
I like what you said, Phil. They just decided to do something that no one else did, strategy-wise. And we're running this green flag lap after green flag lap. The more green flag laps you run, the farther the field gets separated. This thing could go all the way to the checkered, and if it does, Ben Rhodes is in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm surprised more drivers did not pit. I understand the thought process of potentially getting another yellow, but you were within the fuel window to make it to the end, so I'm just shocked that they didn't try to do that and then just run on the old tires all the way to the end of the race. But needless to say, that's a strategy that a very large majority of these lead lap trucks to the finish have decided to go with. And we're down to just 40 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. Meanwhile, on the fresher tires for those that did pit, they're trying to saw their way through the field. Ben Rhodes in the number 99 truck hasn't made his way back up very high in the running order, only 18th right now, which is about as high as he has been running today. Working on Brett Holmes for 17th place, down to the middle groove. And a couple spots lost for Grant Enfinger since the restart. He was in 10th, now he's back to 12th. So Rhodes and Enfinger starting to get a little closer to one another in the running order. If Ben Rhodes were to, say, win this race here today, he's the only driver below the cutoff line that would have a chance to. Daniel died 2 laps down in 27th. And only 2 drivers are going home in the playoffs here today from the round of 10 to the round of 8. So if Rhodes does go on to win this race, if, say, Enfinger still finished in the top 10, he would have to then beat the 17 truck of Taylor Gray on points. And there was about a 15-point difference between those two coming into the day. And Taylor Gray, I believe, has outscored Enfinger in the stages. So it'd be very unlikely for Grant Enfinger to actually outpoint Taylor Gray or Elijah Caruth from here to the end of the race. So we're pretty much looking at Rhodes or Enfinger getting this final spot for the playoffs as of right now. So in these final 4 laps, it's basically if Ben Rhodes wins, Enfinger's out. Otherwise, the battle between those two is a 12-point difference coming into this final stage. Enfinger has to finish within 12 positions of Ben Rhodes if Rhodes doesn't win for Enfinger to advance to the next round. Roger Caruth working on a pass of Nick Sanchez. This is as good as Caruth has looked so far tonight. He's been outside the top 10 for most of the race, and he got up to 10th at the end of stage 2. Got 1 stage point, and now he's battling for 6 with Sanchez. Caruth to the outside in 3 and 4. Sanchez down to the bottom should give a momentum surge for Caruth. It's been really good on these intermediate tracks this season. That's been the strong suit for the 71 team of Caruth. That's where his only win came at earlier in the year at Las Vegas as well, where he dominated the final stage of that race, which was very similar to this one by way of not having a lot of yellows. We'll see if that trend continues on. Nick Sanchez to pit road.
See the 2 of Nick Sanchez coming down pit road. This is a scheduled pit stop. I think essentially what they're doing is splitting this final stage in half. It's going to put fresh tires on now, and that will probably open up the floodgates and bring more people to pit road because they don't want to get caught behind this 2 and having older tires.
You know, Phil, you and I both said I would have pitted under that caution earlier. Just get that gas that could get you all the way to the end. These guys had elected not to do that. With Ben Rhodes and other cats on the racetrack with enough fuel, this is going to put them in a real bind.
Now, it is worth noting the reason why that strategy was on play for those teams to stay out, and why most of us are probably wondering why didn't they pit? They were within the fuel window. That is because there was only one set of tires left remaining. So they chose, well, if we get another caution, we'll have the advantage of the fresher tires over those that don't have fresh tires. Well, the problem is, again, we were inside the fuel window, so there is that risk of it going green to the end. You're going to have to pit one more time, and the others may not. It wasn't exactly like it was a clean, we're inside the fuel window, but we did restart with 51 laps to go, and the fuel window's 50 to 55 laps, so it lead me to believe those guys that were topping off right before we went green, like a Ben Rhodes, like a few other trucks that were at the back of the lead lap, they have a very good probability of trying to make this thing. We have 23 trucks in the lead lap right now. We restarted with 24, but Nick Sanchez is the only truck who restarted on the lead lap, who has been back to pit road for a scheduled pit stop. Matt Craftsman obviously fell off the lead lap having to pit. He did have to pit an extra time, by the way, as well because of that penalty, so that's why he is a couple laps down. But yeah, anyway, leaving ourselves at 22 trucks on the lead lap, and it actually looks like Tanner Gray and the 15 is down onto pit road for a scheduled stop as well.
Thanks, debut at North Wilkesboro. British Ford got out. Acted like he won the race. All the fans applauded.
He deserved to act that way. That was an amazing performance in his debut. Another truck fill. One of the guys that didn't pit, Tanner Gray, on pit road, getting fresh tires and fuel.
Yeah, I think you might as well come in now. If you didn't pit on lap, 79 to 82, where those other guys did, you might as well come in and try to get the good off these tires. If you wait till there's 10 laps to go, then you're not going to get the advantage of those new tires for 25 or 30 laps.
It's a gamble, but that's sometimes what it takes to be successful. You've got to just go with your gut instinct.
Tyler Ankrum, Grant Enfinger battling for position. That is for 10th. Ankrum making the pass on Enfinger. Enfinger only up a few more spots in the running order because a couple drivers ahead of him pitted, like Gray and Sanchez. Hand out the window for Enfinger. He's coming into the pits this time. So the driver right on the edge of the cutoff battle for that final playoff spot for the round of 8 is coming to pit road. No, never mind. It was a bluff, maybe. So Grant Enfinger looked like he had his hand out the window to go onto pit road. Maybe they waved him off. And they'll wait another lap. The longer they wait, the less time they're going to have of trying to take the advantage on fresher tires to get back into this. I mean, there obviously is a risk of pitting now as well, that if a caution came out then, you'd really be hurting because you'd be a lap down. Lane Riggs also in the pits.
Got him from the second spot.
Enfinger's in as well.
Yes,
They're coming your way.
38 Lane Riggs comes in. What a banner night he's had, showing everybody again what he's got. No real major adjustments on this truck. He's just a little too tight when he gets up behind the 11 truck to make the pass. The 9 truck and Grant Enfinger, just Ankwitz about 5 laps ago apologized to his driver, said, I should have pitted under that last yellow. We're going to short pit. Exactly what you said, Phil. Get the good off these tires while we can, make up some time.
Yeah, splitting this final run in about half here. It seems more trucks down on the pit road as well. Still waiting on the leaders of Heim and Eckes to pit. Heim's got over a 5-second advantage over Eckes. Eckes was in third. Lane Riggs was only a couple seconds off the lead in the second place position. And by pitting earlier than Heim, he's going to have a chance of potentially cycling out in front of that 11 truck. We'll see if Heim can maybe get him back on the slightly fresher tires on the long run if he stays out significantly longer. And Heim is actually going to be on his way onto pit road right now. Same for Connor Mosack, Dean Thompson, Tyler Ankrum.
Busy play. A lot of drivers in top 20, all electing to come right now.
There's Tyler Ankrum right there, the blue and orange truck peeling off to come to pit road. Corey Heim was awfully fast there, getting in that 11 truck coming from the lead.
Ooh, that's going to be close, Amanda. He slid into pit road.
Yeah, Michael, you can see that if he came down. We'll keep listening to the radio to hear anything from his team. But Corey, he's been a little free tonight, but the truck's been giving him what he wants. He told me ahead of this race that he had a perfect truck here to be beat free. So what he's had out of the truck so far is going, but you look at that 11 truck, you think of just the year that he's had. He is on the brink of 6 he is the youngest driver ever to have 10 total wins in the Craftsman Truck Series. So, man, this is an impressive drive out of Corey Heim tonight from the rear to the lead. It's clear coming to pit road, Phil.
Question is, though, is Corey Heim going to be able to cycle back out in front of Lane Riggs after Riggs had pitted a little bit earlier than Corey Heim? And I do believe that that is going to be the case. So Corey Heim will retain the lead if we cycle all the way through these green flag pit stops. Side-by-side commercial break going on right now on FS1. If you're wondering visually where you can watch this race, again, Fox Sports 1, as usual for the Truck Series. Under the side-by-side commercial break, Christian Eckes, Raja Kruth coming into the pits. Kind of wild that they're taking a commercial break mid-green flag pit stop. I don't think I've seen this before. But they're getting an ad break in here. And we're going to have to get our final one in pretty soon as well. I don't want to go through the full field running order rundown because we're in the middle of pit stops. So we'll get that on the other side. We'll take our final break during green flag action tonight. You're listening live to the Kubota Tractor 200 on KRC. Raja Kruth just working his way off of pit road. Ty Majeski still out on the racetrack. As of right now, just 4 trucks on the lead lap. We'll see how long Majeski will continue to take this run for. Caden Honeycutt, Dawson Sutton also still on the track. Ben Rhodes in the 4th place position, remember, did pit during that last caution. I'm not sure how many other drivers pit with him. The difference is about 19 seconds from where Ben Rhodes is back to Corey Heim, who is in 9th. So a 19-second difference between Rhodes and Heim on track with 22 laps to go. That last lap Corey Heim ran on fresh tires was a 31.658. On the older tires for Ben Rhodes, a 33.399. So on average, we're looking at about a 1.7 second difference in lap time between those on fresh tires and those on the older tires at the front of the field. So over the course of 22 laps, can that 19-second differential be made up here by Corey Heim? Heim definitely has the fastest truck in the field tonight. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He ended up starting back in the field, 33rd. And as quickly as he rose to 3rd, we pretty much had a good idea he had the fastest truck at that point. Once he got to the lead, he's only driven away every time he has been up there, stage 2, stage 3 now. Also showing the current playoff leaderboard between Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger. It's a 1-point difference between Rhodes and Enfinger, with Rhodes in 4th currently, and Grant Enfinger cycling out of the pits in 17th. How many more trucks still have to pit that Enfinger can cycle in front of to gain more points? And obviously, if Majeski and Honeycutt and Sutton end up pitting ahead of Rhodes as well, that could be a few more points for the 99 also. There's a few drivers in the running order behind Rhodes that hasn't pit. That would be more positions gained for Enfinger that Rhodes would not be able to capitalize on. Who is in the most prime position to try to get the win is the next question. Is it Honeycutt, Sutton? Are they on the same strategy as Ben Rhodes? Because that I do not know. In the running order, Honeycutt and Sutton are currently 3 seconds ahead of where Ben Rhodes is on the track right now. Tell you what, Ben Rhodes needed a Hail Mary, as poor of a night as that team has been, about 20th place speed or worse throughout the course of the evening. They qualified pretty well, qualified up in the 3rd place position, but 4th place position exactly is where he started, row 2. But fell backwards immediately, not even getting any stage points in stage 1, and obviously not in stage 2 as well, but this pit strategy has lent themselves at least a chance in this final stage. Gap now between Rhodes and Heim is about 12 seconds. So from 19 seconds to 12 over the course of the last 4 or 5 laps, I would say that that's a fast enough pace. Heim will catch the 99. So now the next question is, will Lane Riggs, who is another 4 seconds behind Corey Heim, catch Ben Rhodes to keep Rhodes from losing not 1 but 2 spots, being only 1 point ahead of Enfinger? Will Enfinger be able to gain any more positions before the end of the race? May he lose positions and continue to fall down? On track, Grant Enfinger just gained another spot that last lap, going from 17th to 16th as he passes Timmy Hill. So that pass now puts a tie between Rhodes and Enfinger. The tiebreaker is the best finish in the round. Rhodes running 4th where he's at right now would have the best finish in the round. So Rhodes still has the tiebreaker, with Enfinger gaining that 16th place position on Timmy Hill. Bailey Curry next truck ahead of Enfinger, and on our leaderboard we can't tell exactly the difference between those two trucks because they're both a lap down with trucks that have not hit pit road in front of them yet. Strategy here for Ty Majeski, I think, is to stay out as long as he can. Hope we get a caution and then pit, as he definitely still has to pit before the end. He was in the top 5 when that last caution came out. Definitely didn't hit pit road. He's got a 9-second lead over Caden Honeycutt, 11 seconds over Ben Rhodes, and 18 seconds over Corey Heim, who is already pitted. So a 7-second differential now between Rhodes and Heim. Enfinger's still got a ways to the next truck in front of him. It's not impossible if he's running faster lap times that he could catch anybody else in front of him in the positioning order, but there's a gap. Just 14 laps to go here at the Kansas Speedway. Lap times we're running, we're probably about 7 to 8 minutes away from the checkered flag if this thing stays green. Let me know in the chat, who do you think is going to get that last spot into the next round of the playoffs? Is it going to be Ben Rhodes or is it going to be Grant Enfinger? Again, those two are tied right now. Differentiating pit strategies, with Rhodes in 4th and 16th here for Grant Enfinger. Enfinger about to unlap himself pretty soon. He's actually the first truck 1 lap down currently. Majeski, the race leader, right in front of him on the backstretch. Ben Rhodes has caught Dawson Sutton for 3rd. Rhodes picking up the pace a little bit. Needs to make this pass for 25th. He still has to hope he has enough fuel to make it to the end as well. He's definitely pushing it. I think he can make it, but he's definitely not saving gas during this run as he battles for 3rd place, knowing another point's on the line there. Unable to make the pass through 3 and 4 down to the bottom of the track that last time by, and loses ground on the front stretch in doing so. Corey Heim now just 3 seconds behind Rhodes on track. That would be another point lost if the 99 gets passed, which will put Enfinger above the cut line if Rhodes is unable to pass Sutton for 3rd. Sutton about a second off of Honeycutt in front of him as well. That last lap, Ben Rhodes quicker than Sutton, but not as quick as Honeycutt. Honeycutt driving away from these two. Bailey Curry with heavy traffic in front of him, side by side between Nick Sanchez and the 02 truck. 02 being driven by Nathan Bird. Bird is a position as well. Enfinger passes Bird for a spot. And now is looking to try to get by for another position as well. Connor Daly was a spot in that. Nick Sanchez a position, and now the 41 truck of Bailey Curry could be a spot as well. So that's putting more pressure here on Ben Rhodes that he has to win this thing. Problem is Ben Rhodes, meanwhile, and seeing Grant Enfinger on the right side of the screen passing trucks for position, Ben Rhodes lost a spot to Corey Heim. With 10 laps to go in the race, Rhodes now runs in 5th instead of 4th. And the difference is 5 points between Enfinger and Rhodes. That's a tough break here for Ben. Strategy just didn't pan out for him, I guess. It was a shot in the dark. Still not over if we get a caution. But if we stay green, it looked like the Final Hail Mary prayer for Ben Rhodes is not going to be answered. So Corey Heim jumps to second. He not only passed Rhodes over the last couple laps, but obviously got by Sutton and Honeycutt as well. So now Corey Heim is in second place. Ty Majeski still has not hit pit road. 7 laps left this time by the line. You wouldn't think Majeski has enough fuel to make it to the end. He did not hit pit road during that last caution. He runs the outside of the track through 3 and 4 again. And honestly, being locked into the next round of the playoffs, run that thing till it's dry at this point if you're Ty Majeski. His last lap was a 33.59 to Heim's 32.23. Looks like Majeski picked up actually a couple tenths that last lap. So Heim only running 1.1 seconds quicker that last lap than the race leader. He's 7 seconds off the lead with 7 laps to go. Enfinger, by the way, just lost another position, it looks like, on track. So the difference is now 4 points between Enfinger and Rhodes. Again, Rhodes has to beat Grant Enfinger by 12 positions in this finishing order for him to make up those points. So you can look on the screen yourself there on the leaderboard and do the math as we get down to the closing stages, because we've got a battle for the lead ensuing that's a lot tighter than the playoff race, and that is Ty Majeski creeping along, trying to save fuel, make it to the end of this race despite not pitting at all in stage number 3. What a call this could be if he ends up pulling this off. He's got less than a 6-second advantage over Corey Heim at second, who has also fresher tires, who pitted under green. 5 to go now for Majeski. Rhodes loses another spot. No, Queen was actually on the lead lap. He doesn't lose a spot. 33 truck has a problem. That's Lawless Allen again, sparking on the apron of the racetrack through 3 and 4. No caution. We stay green. Some smoke coming out of the back of the truck. But if he gets to pit road unharmed, again, we will stay green. It looks like the right front tire is down after an impact into the wall. And just hoping that tire carcass doesn't come off the race truck to warrant a yellow for debris, and it has not, and he has gotten down onto pit road as well. So green flag still in the air as Ty Majeski tries to hold on with 4 laps to go. The lead is now 5 seconds over Corey Heim. More like 3.5 laps to go as he's on the middle of the back straightaway, working himself now into turn 3. I think the pace he is running is good enough for him to win. But can he make it on fuel is the next question. Majeski trying to pick up his 3rd win of the season. Last win on a 1.5 miles was at Homestead in 2022. Fast forward 2 years later, another playoff race on a 1.5 miles at Kansas in 2024. Rhodes trying to get the victory. 4-second lead, 3 to go. Working the outside of the racetrack. Caden Honeycutt about to go a lap down in the 45 truck. No, it was the left side of the screen. It was the 99, not the 98. Ben Rhodes getting by Caden Honeycutt for a position for 4th. Apologize on that. That's funny. I swear I'm focused. Heim is definitely not going to be catching Majeski under green flag conditions anymore, unless Majeski were to run out of gas. And he's slow off the exit of turn 4. Ben Rhodes is slow too. I think Ben Rhodes is out of gas. Majeski stumbling. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go, but Majeski's slow. He's not going to make it on fuel, and Corey Heim is going to take the lead on the final lap. 1 lap short on gas for Ty Majeski. We know Heim is plenty good to the end. I might have jinxed him. I said he wasn't going to catch him under green unless he runs out of gas. He ran out of gas seconds later. And Ty Majeski is going to have to limp it home to the finish with Corey Heim in dominating fashion in the lap sled department. Is going to get the race win as well. 6th win of the season for Corey Heim in just 19 races. What a year. And this kid has had, winning about 1/3 of the races we've had on the schedule. And because of Ben Rhodes running out of gas as well as not really being in position anyway to make it on points to the next round. It'll be Grant Enfinger getting a top 10 finish, finishing in 9th and taking home that last spot to transfer into the round of 8 of the playoffs. Wild finish to this one here tonight at Kansas. A last lap pass for the win. Margin of victory 7.6 seconds for Corey Heim over Layden Riggs, who ends up in 2nd. Christian Eckes finishes 3rd, 15 seconds off the lead. Caden Honeycutt in 4th, did make it on fuel on that same strategy Majeski and Rhodes were on. 4th place finish for Honeycutt. Dawson Sutton started top 5, finishes top 5. Good run for him in the 25. Tanner Gray finishes 6th, Raja Cruz 7th, Bailey Curry 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, Connor Mosack rounds out the top 10. Chase Purdy in 11th, Nick Sanchez 12th, Dean Thompson 13th, Tyler Rankin 14th, Ty Majeski last truck on the lead lap in 15th. Brett Holmes a lap down at 16th, Connor Daly 17th, Taylor Gray at 18th, Nathan Bird 19th, and 20th for Brennan Queen. Jake Garcia 21st, Ben Rhodes 22nd, Timmy Hill 23rd, Stuart Friesen 24th, Matt Crafton 25th, Justin Mondyke 26th, 27th for Daniel Dye, Spencer Boyd 28th, Frankie Muniz 29th, Wallace Allen 30th, Jennifer Jo Cobb 31st, Corey Day 32nd, Matt Mills 33rd, and Marco Andretti with a mechanical failure ends up finishing last in 34th, and that rounds out our field of 34 trucks here tonight. 4 DNFs. Cobb, Day, Mills, and Andretti were the 4 DNFs. Again, 15 trucks finished on the lead lap. 1 hour, 35 minutes, 50 seconds total time on the race here this evening. Our average race speed of 123.13 miles per hour. Here's your race winner, Corey Heim.
Without a doubt. But how about the call by Scott Zipadelli after that practice incident to say, hey, we're going to take the time to make sure this truck's okay. Forget qualifying. We're going to take it back to the garage. And man, was it right.
The confidence that he had in that truck he built and his driver to be able to get the job done.
That's a beautiful thing. Checker flag, picking out a fan there to pass it to.
Love that.
Love this tradition.
There you go.
I think Corey's going to end up giving a lot of flags away throughout his career.
From here, what time is it? Does anybody know?
I think he said it's 6-time high time.
6-time high time.
I hope he buys him a watch this time.
Look at all the wind stickers on the side of his race truck.
This is.
As the helmet comes off. What a night for Corey Heim, Amanda.
Oh, and Jamie, you can see his team just as happy as he is. And Corey, on that last pit stop for you under green flag, you asked your team, how hard should I go? And Scott said to you, go as hard as you can. I want to know the first thought that you had when you saw Ty Majeski fall to the apron.
Just a deep sigh of relief. I mean, we're the best truck all night. Just huge thank you to my truck on garage guys. This is my favorite track. I love coming here. I look forward to this. I had a smile on my face all week coming to this place, and just thought we could sweep the year here. It's just such an awesome place to come. Like I said, just huge thanks to Truck on Garage, Safe Flight, Toyota Racing. Certainly thought we had it lost there at the 98, almost making it on fuel, but it just shows my team made the right call.
Congratulations to Corey, starting from the rear, guys, and wins this race. Todd?
Grant Enfinger advances to the next round of the playoffs. Grant, we watched you the start of this race. Looked like you were just pacing yourself, keeping those guys in bay, knowing where their point situation was. It comes down to the end of the green flag stops. At one point, you were 6 points out of the playoffs, ended up 25 points in. Talk about your night.
Yeah, definitely a little bit stressful. Definitely too close for comfort here. Jeff Stankwitz and all these guys at CR7 Motorsports have done a great job all year. But this is a round we want to forget. We snuck through here, and now we're looking forward to going to Talladega next week. But yeah, just I honestly feel like we had good drivability in our champion car putting the Chevy. But man, just stuck in the mess. My buddy Raj, he hit the fence there on lap 1. I got checked up in the rear. Had to save it a little bit, and just tried to be smart after that. When we did get a little air on that green flag sequence, truck was fast for about 20 laps. Had a very bad vibration that come in on every set of tires. Had a really goofy set of tires on our second to last stint. I made Jeff, I think, lose some years off of his life because I was telling him to come in. It wanted to go because I knew Ben, his play was to go all the way. I was like, man, we got to cover that. But at the end of the day, Jeff made the right call, keeping us out there. And ended up with a top 10. It wasn't pretty, but we got something to build on.
Granite finger going to the next round, guys.
And the first race in the next round is his home track, Talladega, Alabama.
All right, so the playoff standings as we reset the points for the round of 8 next weekend at Talladega. Corey Heim back to the #1 seed, carries 6 playoff points from today's race over to his original total as he won a stage and won the race. He will be plus 38 points as the #1 seed, beginning again the round of 8 at Dega next weekend. Plus 29 points for Christian Eckes, who was the regular season champion. Ty Majeski plus 14 points and plus 8 points for Nick Sanchez. Minus 8 for Raja Caruth, minus 11 for Grant Enfinger and Tyler Ankrum, minus 15 for Taylor Gray. So those are all the drivers and their playoff standings update going into next weekend's race. Here's Ben Rhodes following his elimination from the playoffs tonight at Kansas.
Sometimes just how it goes. Is there anything you could have done different?
Yeah, we could have been a lot better to fire off, to tell you that. For whatever reason, we were able to qualify fourth and to start the race. And I mean, did massive changes. Something was wrong with the truck. We could not get it tightened up. There's one change that did fix it. Leads me to kind of believe we know what happened, but still kind of unacceptable that happened, right? If we got our stage points, it would have took care of itself. But all in all, I'm thankful for all of our partners, Kubota, Farm Paint, Tend Up. We've got Campers In and a bunch of others, and I wish we were able to, get them another championship run, but the past 3 seasons have been really good to us.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Ben Rhodes is the first defending series champion to not advance.
What about our top 10? I mean, we know when strategy comes into play, there's going to be some.
Yeah, so again, by the way, Lane Riggs, I didn't really mention it. I mean, I did in the finishing order that he finished in second, but 3 straight top 2s, back-to-back wins, a second tonight. He didn't lead any laps, but he was definitely there and had another fast truck, and honestly, his best run on a 1.5-mile track in his truck career so far, in his rookie season, of course, at that. 3 cautions tonight, as I mentioned already. The only one for incident, lap 75, early going stage 3, involving Matt Mills and Corey Day. Both drivers retired from the race following that crash. Hard hit, by the way, for Day. Luckily, he is okay. Lap 30 and lap 60 stage ends were the 2 stage yellows, and that makes up the 3 cautions we had entirely in this one. Let's see, 64 laps led for your race winner, Corey Heim, who leads the most laps of any driver today. Ty Majeski led for 51 laps from the pole. He led 4 different times. Heim led 3 different times, including that last lap pass for the win after Majeski ran out of gas coming to the white flag. And Christian Eckes also led some laps here today, leading 19 of them. Led 4 different times. Most of those on restarts as he had a good fire-off short run truck, but not as good in the long run compared to Majeski or a Heim today. Ty Majeski ended up winning stage 1 from the pole, from 33rd starting position to the win, and the most laps led for Corey Heim. He also won stage 2, as I mentioned, in this race as well. So 3 different drivers led at least 1 lap in the race today. Had 10 lead changes amongst those 3 different drivers. It was good battles throughout on the restarts, and then obviously thrilling finish down the stretch there. A fuel mileage run to the end for Majeski, just wasn't able to hang on. Congratulations to Corey Heim, again, 6th win of the Truck Series season. This race was short, just like Bristol last week, 1 hour and 35 minutes. This week, 1 hour 20 last week at Bristol. These truck races are flying by with a lack of yellows, I will say. I don't know if that'll be the case in Dega next week, but we'll have to come back and watch. That will be next Friday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We have live commentary coverage for the rest of the NASCAR race weekend at Kansas. We'll have Cup Practice qualifying streaming for you live right here on KRC beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon. 4 p.m. Eastern for our NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage tomorrow afternoon, as we'll have a Saturday doubleheader. And our Sunday race coverage will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern with our pre-race, as we'll go through the race predictions as well as my round of 12 predictions, who I think will be eliminated there as well. One more last congratulations to Corey Heim for winning, again, race 6 of the season. And thank you to all of you that tuned in for tonight's race. Appreciate it as always. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. We're just shy of our goal of 50 likes tonight. We're at 44 currently, so be sure to hit that like button so hopefully we can get to that goal by the time I wake up in the morning. Have a good rest of your Friday night. See you back and better than ever for our doubleheader tomorrow.